Yo, what's good, guys? And today I have just some things to say about the F1 Ultra Carimo series. I mean, it was a quite interesting series to say the least, and I did enjoy making the first 8 races for the 2018 season. But I don't know how the game dropped me because I was literally doing better than Van Dorn, and yeah, the game probably just doesn't make sense. But this doesn't mean I'm ending the series. Oh no! I'm gonna be carrying on with the series for another couple of games, and we're gonna be moving on to F1 2019. And of course, I did actually have to simulate the remainder of the 2018 season because it I had to actually get some results for the end. And to be fair, there weren't really any surprises to be fair because when you simulate a race in F1 2018, it does not seem like any DNFs happen no matter what you do. So yeah, basically the races were now just boring and there weren't really any major shocking results to be fair. As Fernando Alonso did actually replace my driver for the remainder of the season, so for the remaining 13 races, and he kind of destroyed me, Van Dorn, to be fair. I was already being Van Dorn easily enough, but Van Dorn just took, Alonso just took it up the next level and just destroyed him. But it was actually not Mercedes or Lewis Hamilton winning the World Championship. Oh, no, it was not that. And yeah, the season ended up being pretty interesting, to be fair, as it was actually pretty cool, to be fair. Whilst, yes, it doesn't match, like, real life. Whilst, I don't know why I can't get my words. It seems like that the IRL F1 season isn't really equal to this in-game season I did in career mode. But, you know what? Still, it was an interesting season. And, yes, I did only do 8 races, and I got dropped halfway through the season. I don't know what for. When I was literally beating Van Dorn, and I literally scored more points than him. I don't get it, okay? I even got a dominant P7 in Spain whilst having gearbox issues. I don't get why the team would drop me when I did a brilliant drive in Spain. And then Australia on debut, I just kept it consistent and qualified P11, finished P10. So yeah. And yeah, there wasn't really anything else for me. Those 2 races were really the only good races. There was Canada, but I did get a lot of penalties, which did cost me P8, unfortunately. And I did only finish P9, but still it was the team's first ever double finish this season. So yeah. There isn't really much I can say, to be fair, but let's move on to the standings and see what happened towards the end of the season. And the driver who won the World Championship at the end of the 2018 season was Sebastian Vettel, and I am not actually capping. Sebastian did in fact win the championship with 379 points. This is because, due to him being a rather consistent winner, as in the 13 races that I didn't race, he actually was able to win, wait, he won 9 races out of the 13 after I was dropped by McLaren, and this really helped him to get into the fight. Hamilton would only win 2 more races, and Raikkonen would win 1. Ricciardo would win 2, and Bottas and Verstappen would each win 1 also. The top 6 basically had all the wins, and no one else outside the top 6 really had a chance of fighting, you know. And yeah, due to Sebastian being very consistent and Lewis Hamilton not being so consistent, as he got a streak of 4 non-podium finishes from round 14 to round 70, which really didn't help us. Sebastian would win in 3 of those and get a 3rd place. Raikkonen was not really close, to be fair, as he was still almost 100 points behind his teammate, and he was still pretty consistent, as he got a streak of 3 second place finishes in a row during the halfway point of the season. Ricciardo didn't really have anything interesting, to be fair, except that he got 2 wins in the garbage Red Bull. And Bottas would really struggle after the second half, as he would not get many podiums. I would only get 4 podiums after I was dropped. And Verstappen would get 6 podiums, but it wasn't enough to beat Ricciardo due to him having a pretty poor start to the season. Vettel actually had a poor start to the season also, as he had a puncture in China. After taking grid penalties in Baku, he couldn't really finish that high, and eventually he had a last lap retirement in Spain, giving Max Verstappen his only win of the season, and Red Bull's first win of the season. So yeah, it was a pretty chaotic season, to be fair, as Hamilton would not win the title. I was expecting Hamilton to win the title as he did in real life. Plus, Mercedes had the quicker car, but it did seem like that Ferrari did actually catch up towards the end of the season. I mean, and they may now have the quickest car heading into the next season. Red Bull are still probably going to be a third place car, to be fair. I don't think they're really going to be able to fight for much next season. Mercedes, however, are probably not going to be very happy with what's happened this season. I was actually expecting them to win the title after simulating all the races, but Lewis was just not consistent enough and would not win and he would have a 9-race non-win streak, so he didn't win for 9 races, which is pretty bad, as Vettel actually won, which is pretty bad, and Vettel did win in 5 of those races. So yeah, I mean, I suppose that the game probably was realistic enough, I suppose, but yeah. Here are the rest of the standings, by the way, if you guys want to see. And yeah, I'll just do a quick talk of what happened. Basically, Hulkenberg was the most consistent midfield driver and did just beat out Perez, as Renault practically had the 4th quickest score for the entirety of the season. Alonso, in the meantime, just cooked everyone, as he could have actually been Hulkenberg and Perez if he just had a couple more races, as he kept getting top 6s and a lot of points, which probably helped McLaren finish P6 in the Constructors ahead of Haas. Then Sainz was a bit disappointing, to be fair, as he didn't really score many points, and it wasn't really close to Hulkenberg, to be fair, but Reynolds did still finish P4 in the Constructors, and Perez was practically also carrying Force India, as Ocon was just nowhere, to be fair. And yeah, Haas overall had a pretty good start to the season, with Grosjean getting some really good points finishes. Magnussen wasn't so lucky, as he didn't score points till round 5 in Spain, I think. No, I think he scored in Baku actually, so round 4. And yeah, Haas really weren't anywhere, to be fair. They really just didn't have any good races. Leclerc did have a good race, which was P5 in Bahrain. This at some point did actually put McLaren in P8 in the Constructors, which wasn't really realistic, to be fair, according to the R&D chart. And yeah, Leclerc would only score 1 more point since after I got dropped, just showing that Sauber just didn't have any pace. In the meantime, Vandal would do the same thing as he did when I was his teammate, as he would score a P8 and a P10 in the next 13 races. So yeah, he did do some contribution, to be fair, by scoring 5 points. And then finally, Toro Rosso and Williams were just nowhere, and Ericsson was especially a very bad disappointment, as he did not get any points and was beaten by Gasly, who was logically in a worse car. So I don't know what that's about. In the Constructors, Ferrari would win, as Vettel and Raikkonen were in higher positions, just ahead of Mercedes by 57 points. Red Bull were just about 158 points behind, with Renault and Force India being pretty close, to be fair. McLaren were probably going to be nowhere if they didn't have if Alonso didn't come in, and to be fair, yeah, he did cook, to be fair. Haas and Sauber were not really anywhere, and yeah, Toro Rosso and Williams just did not have the pace. I really want Toro Rosso to score a point, because Gasly and Monaco started P10, but he dropped the P13, so that didn't really help him, to be fair. And yeah, those will be the standings. Now it's time we get for a bit of an interesting part, and this will be my driver stats. So basically the stats I've had so far in this F1 Ultra Career Mode. And here are my stats. And yeah, so overall we have done 8 races so far in the F1 2018 season. We haven't won any races, we haven't got any podiums, and no fastest laps. So yeah, we haven't really gone close to a win podium or fastest lap. We've got 9 points so far in our career, and we finished in the points 3 times out of the 8 races, with our best qualifying / start being a P10, which we got at China, and we got one at I don't remember which race. I think we got one at China and then one at Spain. So yeah, our best race finish is P7, which we once again got at Spain also, after we were able to be pretty consistent. And we have 3 DNFs, as 2 of them were they were all crashes. One of them was in Shanghai, one of them was in Monaco, and then another in Paul Ricard. So we overall have a 37.5% DNF rate, which is kind of high, to be fair, which probably explains why McLaren dropped us, as we're a little bit of a crash-prone driver, of course. But I'm hoping that we shouldn't have that problem heading into the 2019 season. And yeah, hopefully we don't get dropped halfway through the season, as F1 2019 has the same driver move mechanisms as F1 2018. Okay, well, F1 2018 doesn't have driver transfers, F1 2019 does, but the contract system is basically the same, which would make this a bit harder, to be fair. But yeah, so yeah, I don't really have anything else to say, but I'll see you all next video, so goodbye.